What is going on, guys? Matt Downs with Daily Grind Fantasy Sports to help give you the edge for this NBA 10-game slate. Cannot wait to break it down. This video is officially sponsored by Jock Market, introducing a new way to play fantasy sports. Very similar to the stock market, you can buy and sell players based on your actual projections for those players. For instance, tonight, I think Victor Oladipo is going to be a fantastic play, and he outperforms his median projection. Therefore, he's going to be a very good buy low candidate that you can sell a little bit higher or hold, hoping that he's one of the top performers on the slate. In return, this will increase your ROI and hopefully set you up for a major payday. Head over to the App Store now and download Jock Market while entering in code DGF20 for a free $20 deposit bonus when signing up. Also, if you guys want to be entered into the $25 giveaway that we do every single Friday on stream, please like, subscribe, and also comment your favorite GPP play for this slate. If you guys would like to know more about becoming a better DFS player and taking down that big GPP, head over to www.patreon.com/DGFantasy for more information. On Patreon, we give advanced cheat sheets for all DFS sports on Draftkings. These cheat sheets include updated projections, ownership, and our overall favorite plays from slate to slate. We take it a step further by teaching you how to play fantasy sports like a shark, by showing you where the best leverage spots are to put you in the best spots to take down tourneys. Also included is our private Discord chat where you get to talk over the slate with everyone, including our coaches, to help build your lineups. Now let's go ahead and dive right into this NBA 10-game slate. We have a massive slate with a lot of breaking injury news already out, thankfully, bright and early for us. So let's go ahead and take a look at the injury report here. With Indiana, we have LeVert, Warren out. Milwaukee, we have Adams, nothing really going on there. With Philly, we have Ferguson, Mike Scott, nothing going on. With Charlotte, we have PJ Washington out, and Terry Rozier is questionable. If he is ruled out, that's definitely something to pay attention to. Definitely going to be noteworthy. With Atlanta, we have Bogdanovich, Dunn, and Hunter still out. That definitely shakes up things in Atlanta. With Chicago, we have Wendell Carter Jr. out. With the Clippers, nothing going on there. With Cleveland, right now Drummond is questionable. If he is ruled out, we're going right back to the well with Jarrett Allen, but he's still questionable, so we will break that down a little bit later on in the day. With Washington, Raul Neto is out. With Miami, we don't have too much going on there. With Houston, John Wall is officially out. That definitely shakes up things in Houston, hence the reason I said Victor Oladipo is a great buy low candidate right now. OKC, Jerome, Hill, and SGA are all out. That's the biggest injury news here on the slate so far, so we will be paying attention to OKC. With Minnesota, Karl Anthony Towns and Culver are out. With San Antonio, Aldridge is out. That shakes up things in San Antonio in a pace-up spot versus Minnesota. With Phoenix, nothing really going on there. New Orleans, Steven Adams is technically questionable. If he's ruled out, we'll be paying attention there. With Boston, Marcus Smart is still out. And then Sacramento, Bjelica, Jeffries, and Ramsey are still out. Let's switch over to the main slate here and go team by team. With Philly and Charlotte, there's nothing really to be talking about. We're going to go ahead and just breeze right through this. All of these guys are going to be GPP options. Joel Embiid in a great spot versus Charlotte. I like his upside, but again, just GPP. We have ownership here on the right side. 8.1 ownership is his ownership, and all these guys are below that in terms of ownership. With Charlotte, like I said, Terry Rozier is questionable if he is held out. PJ Washington also out. Will definitely shake up things here for this picture. Miles Bridges is going to get a boost, a 31-minute projection. Definitely like him here in this matchup. LaMelo did underperform last matchup here, only getting to 30.25 points. We expected a ceiling game from him, but at 7K, I still like him here in 30 minutes, again, if Terry Rozier is ruled out. Switching over to Indiana and Milwaukee. Right now, the spread is 8 points, so this does have blowout potential. If this does blow out, I don't like any one of these guys, obviously, because they won't be playing the fourth. But if they can keep it close to bonus in a great spot here, $8,300, 23.9% ownership. Definitely cash viable as of right now if they don't blow out. I think that price tag on Sabonis is very, very low. Miles Turner, $6,700, not that bad of a JPP option as well. But all the injuries are back for these guys. I don't like any of these guys unless they do keep it close. Flipping over to the other side, Giannis always cheap. Anything below 12K is cheap enough, assuming he can keep it close here in this contest. So if Indiana can keep it close, like that price tag, 6.6% ownership makes him a very good GPP target. And really, all these guys are always good GPP targets because of the blowout potential they have in every single game. $8,200 for Chris Middleton. I'm obviously on him, 5.4% ownership. Switching down to Dallas here, nothing going on whatsoever. All GPP options across the board. Won't waste my breath. Doncic at 10.8K, not that bad of an option here. Now, with Hunter being ruled out, this impacts this picture dramatically. Trae Young gets a huge usage boost here. If we take a look at the usage, right now he is at a 34.2% usage rate with these guys off the floor, a 1.64 fantasy point per minute, and 162 minutes sample size. I'm going to be all over Trae Young tonight, especially in GPPs, more so for cash. Right now, his ownership is only at 6.5% ownership, so he's definitely more GPP viable, but I do think he's cash viable. We know him and Luka like to go back at it, back and forth, like to prove that they are the better of the two players. Cam Reddish right now is a 6.2 point per dollar value, projected at 32 minutes, and I have him projected at 28.48 points. John Collins did get a decrease in usage, so actually not going to be as high on him, but two guys I'm very high on in GPPs are going to be Trae Young and Cam Reddish. Switching over to the Clippers, coming off a back-to-back here. Somebody could sit. Definitely could sit. Kawhi Leonard did do very well last night against Brooklyn. Put up a tremendous amount of points. 59.25 points. I expect one of these guys to sit if either Kawhi Leonard or Paul George are ruled out. That's going to shake up things tremendously for the Clippers, but right now, going to look right past these guys because not too much going on. For Cleveland, again, nothing going on yet. If Andre Drummond is ruled out, that's going to be a huge boost to Jarrett Allen. Had a tremendous game, scored about 58 points, DK points, so definitely going to be a fantastic play if he's going to get those 32 a lot of minutes. Switching over to the next game, we have Washington versus Miami. Nothing really going on here. Bradley Beal, $9,700. Did get a price decrease. I only like him for GPPs, but everybody's going to be GPP viable here, including Russell Westbrook. He has been playing about 30 to 35 minutes-ish, so he's going to be finally getting that starter minute rotation. So I do like him. He did have a minute restriction. Now that he's off the chain, he can play. I do like him here in this matchup versus Miami as a GPP option. This matchup is a 229.5, so I do like the other side here in a pace-up spot. Jimmy Butler showing no ownership whatsoever, so tag him as a GPP play. Bam Adebayo, yet another GPP option, $9,300 in a good matchup, 10.3% ownership, but nothing here in cash whatsoever. Switching over to the Knicks, not too much going on here at all whatsoever. These guys are going to be in a pace-up spot, but all these guys not in any good spots whatsoever. Reggie Bullock, $3,300 projected in 24 is a decent option for value, but outside of that, nothing really here for New York. Switching over to Chicago, we have Wendell Carter Jr. out, so let's see what that does to the Chicago picture here. Zach LaVine, 30.3% usage, the highest usage rate on the entire team, 1.37 fantasy points per minute, so I am very bullish on somebody like Zach LaVine. Yes, it's going to be a pace down spot for them, but this should remain relatively competitive right now. Chicago is only projected to beat them by 3 points. Looking down here, marking another good GPP option, averaging 1.11 fantasy points per minute without Wendell Carter on the court. Kobe White, 0.94 fantasy points per minute and 22.6% usage. So all those guys you can throw into the GPP category, but nothing else really beyond Zach LaVine and Markkanen as good GPP options. Switching down to Houston, this is where I start to get excited. All these guys look fantastic without John Wall on the court. Obviously, James Harden, since he's been traded. Oladipo is my favorite, one of my favorite options on the entire slate. Has a 20% ownership right now, so he's going to be more of a chalky option. $7,800 for a guy that's getting a huge usage boost. Let's actually take a look at this. Victor Oladipo, 35% usage rate and a 1.53 fantasy point per minute output here and 88 minutes of sample size. Looking down the list here, we have Eric Gordon, also a high usage rate, 27.7% usage and a 0.93 fantasy point per minute output. Christian Wood is also my second favorite option, 26.2% usage and a 1.51 fantasy point per minute. So when we convert that to an actual value, Victor Oladipo a 6.9 point per dollar value, Christian Wood a 5.8 point per dollar value, and then also Eric Gordon a 5.7 point per dollar value. I think all the three of these guys are definitely GPP options. And then looking down the list here, all these guys are going to be great GPP options with John Wall being off the court. Switching over to OKC, we have Diallo, the highest owned guy on the slate. I made him my thumbnail. Yes, he's the most obvious play on the slate by far, because if we actually look at Diallo here, 27.5% usage and a 1.24 fantasy point per minute output with Jerome, SGA, and also George Hill off the court. Absolute smash spot, especially at that price tag of $4,500. I think he will be closer to about 100% owned in cash contests. Also on the list here is Dort, projected in 35 minutes, an 8 point per dollar value, is also having the highest usage rate on the entire team, a 33% usage and a 1.12 fantasy point per minute output. Baisley, more of a GPP option in my eyes, averaging under a fantasy point per minute in 34 minutes. A 7.3 point per dollar value, still not that bad whatsoever. Maledon, also not a bad option, 7.1 point per dollar value. And then also Al Horford's going to be my favorite GPP option from this team at 6K, a 5.7 point per dollar value. But definitely load up on cash with Diallo, Dort, and then Baisley's going to be a borderline cash GPP option. Switching over to Minnesota, not too much going on. D'Angelo Russell is questionable. If he is held out, that's going to shake things up here, but we will be discussing that on the live stream a little bit later in the day. For the Spurs, Aldridge is out, so if you guys look at the usage boost from Aldridge being off, DeMar DeRozan averages the highest fantasy point per minute output at a 1.33, 27.8% usage. Looking down the list here, we have DeJounte Murray, a 24.8% usage and a 1.11 fantasy point per minute output. And then just looking down the list, all of these guards really step up here in the mix. But my favorite option, and really the only viable option I have in terms of cash at the 6.9K price tag, very, very low, is going to be DeMar DeRozan, a 26% ownership right now. Going to definitely be cash viable. Rudy Gay, DeJounte Murray, and also Keldon Johnson can be cash viable. Keldon Johnson actually averages over a fantasy point per minute, projected at 30 minutes rather. Going down the list here, nothing really going on for Phoenix. We have a price decrease in Ayton since Booker is expected to play. Also a price decrease, and same thing with Chris Paul. All these guys are going to be GPP viable. I do like DeAndre Ayton at that price tag, $7,400, averaging over a fantasy point per minute and a 5.6 point per dollar value, but nothing more than just GPP options from these two teams. Looking at the Pelicans, Steven Adams is questionable. If he's ruled out, Lonzo Ball is going to be the guy I'm going to be going to. Gets a dramatic boost in usage, and I do like him here, a 5.6 point per dollar value right now. And that's with Steven Adams playing. Last game when Steven Adams was off the court, he was given 32 minutes. Eric Bledsoe, also relatively cheap, 5.9K. And then Zion, the most consistent player in the NBA right now, at an 8K price tag. Don't mind him for an option as well. And then Brandon Ingram, Mr. Hit or Miss for this team. Also not a bad GPP option in this matchup. Last but not least, we have the Boston Celtics without Marcus Smart yet again. However, we got some price increases here. Jaylen Brown did not play well last night. At least we expected him to do a lot more in a pace-up spot here versus Golden State Warriors, but he gets an even better matchup tonight versus Sacramento Kings. I absolutely love Jaylen Brown. I think he's definitely going to be cash viable. Him and DeMar DeRozan are my favorite mid-tier options as of right now. Jason Tatum is also a GPP option, projected at 39 minutes. And then if you guys want to take stabs at some of these other Celtics, they are definitely GPP options. But the guy who benefits the most is going to be Jaylen Brown. Also Jason Tatum, and also Kemba Walker. But Kemba Walker is, in terms of his minutes, if they don't come off a minute restriction, I'm going to be off of him just because it does decrease his ceiling. And then last but not least, we have the Sacramento Kings. Hassan Whiteside projected at 17 minutes, always a punt option for me. If he does play over 17 minutes, I'm obviously going to be on him. Halliburton has been getting starter minutes at a 5.4K price tag, so I don't mind him for GPPs. Keep in mind, this is going to be a pace down spot for the Boston Celtics, or for the Sacramento Kings going against the Boston Celtics. So not really high on these guys. I'm definitely more on the Celtics side. And that will wrap up my video, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy this video. If you did, please do hit that subscription button, notification bell, and of course smash that like button for all of our future NBA content. With all that being said, have a great rest of your day, and let's cash.